Hello guys, let's talking today about sequences of bar. I find some relationship when we're using this feature. This is a popular feature between quantitative traders. So what is mean sequences? It means we have some dependency between sequences of bar in time lag. For example, I see we have three red bar, now we have two green bar, and we can find some sequences. Sometimes we have one sequences or some for red bar, sometimes we have five green bar, and when it happens this situation, it could be influence the next movement of price. And this is strategy I implement using momentum strategy. It means like this, and you could find some sequences between bar. Let's take two sequences and we do some reverse, and you could see we have some dependency between this bar. But what is the most interesting idea? If we do a combination between two or more feature, we could find more useful feature for us. Many trader or in this company has some behavior, and we have some dependency between in times, because we have some schedule, work schedule, relax schedule, and some behaviors. And when we create new feature like times, in this case hours, we could find some new dependency. In this case, for example, you see I create these sequences, and I create data age. It means what is hours. Let's see what happens. Let's calculate, for example, age and calculate value counts, and this is counts what we have 4 hours, 12 hours. So also I have an ideas and to implement some logic with low coding or no coding, because some users haven't enough skills to develop a quantitative trading strategy, but they could use these tools for improve their trading. So I implement these ideas using my website. This is my startup what I developed, and you see we have a grid search and we have sequences. What is it? Let's calculate sequences for Bitcoin USDT for 5 minutes, and we would like to predict what happens with price for next bar. And our idea to hold position only one bar, for example. Okay, this is pivot table. It's very useful table to create ideas, hypotheses, and make some research, quantitative research. Of the left side we have hours, first hours, for example, second hours. This is a time of trading by 1 day, and if we do some calculation dependency between hours and these sequences, when we have -1, it means we have for this situation only one bars beer, it means red bar. It means one green bar. 0, it means we have some random situation, like one bar is green, the next bar is red, and it means we haven't any sequences. And it's also very useful feature for us when we haven't any sequences, and I could show you what is mean. This is mean. We have some statistical, and the most important statistical for us is a summary. it means cumulative returns, what happens with the price with our strategy if we use this combination. Let's see what happens. Let's suggest if we trade only in 16 hours when we haven't any sequences, and you see we let's check. Yeah, and we have 0, 11. It means 11% for the last 90 days, because by default I download data for the last 90 days. It's 3 months. I could we could analyze more data, but for us we need to understand what is current market stage. And let's see, for example, we should find the best value. In our case, I'm interested to do research for 16 hours. Let's see what happens if we trade this situation. And I would like create some signal when we haven't any sequences, like this, because we have this 0. Okay, and signal hours would be 16. Okay, by default, let's see what happens if I do some random value. Okay, let's do some backtest, and I would like to show you if you have some worse combination, it would be not working. Okay, so let's see. You see we haven't any positive cumulative returns. Okay, now we should find these sequences, 0 and this one. Okay, and we need to do research for this value. What happens? I would like to select a situation when we haven't sequences. It means one bar green, second bar red. Okay, and hours, because we have some dependency between behavior of trader, and I would like to make a long trade, only long trade position. Let's do backtest. So implement some coding to website to use like low coding or no coding. Okay, so this is our results of backtest, start date, end date, and we need to compare total return in of our strategy and benchmark. Yeah, you see we have minus 26% is lost if we for benchmark is Bitcoin is down, but our return is positive. It's very nice for us. Let's see. Okay, and you see we have some smooth line of profit, and it means we really find some sequences between this combination, but it's really work. And the last table, it is the last 10 row of this data frame to understand when was a signal. For example, we have entries, exits, short entries, and short exits. We implement it using Python in the previous video, and you see we have, for example, a signal when we should buy and signal when we should exit from long position. Using this backtest we use only a long situation. Let's analyze another situation when we should create some short position. I'm looking some value with for example like this. Okay, this is ours, is very interesting, and we have big the lowest value. Okay, 19 and 0, and we should short. Okay, also when we haven't any sequences. Okay, 19. Let's look at what happens, and we should short the situation. Let's do and create backtest. So we do some calculation on backend server. it takes some time to create charts in SVG format. Okay, it happens. Let's compare our total return. Yes, we have positive a good strategy when benchmark is worse. Okay, and you could analyze another statistic of backtest, but for me, yes, I'm interested in this smooth profit line. It's working. Okay, and this is the last trade. And for me, for example, when I find some sequences and I know, for example, I would like to test the current situation, and let's see, like signal, I would like to test and this is time for GMT 0, this is Greenwich time, and for me it means for example this time, and I would like to understand what happens for real time. For example, let's do, when we use real time, we download data for the last 2 days, and you see we have some results of this trading when we trade only those time, and this is the last trade, and we could analyze what happens. Let's analyze for another time, for example for real time, and we could check our pivot table to understand what happens. Okay, and this time we also have some positive results. Let's analyze real time. Okay, and you see for those time we have some entry longs, and we could use this information to make our trades. So this is some quantitative research. You could use it for self, and you could take different coins and used different time frames. I'm going to increase different time series, and it means what happens with bars after 1 bars, after 2 bars, and when you calculate the statistical, you find some dependency, and you could analyze this information to make hypotheses, and you could implement some statistic to test statistical hypothesis, what we did in the previous video, and you could develop your own strategy to understand how it's working. For example, let's see on Python what happens if we test those feature. For example, let's see what I test. I test this one. Okay, let's test, for example, 0. I would like to test 8, for example. Let's test and create signal 0, and I created a long signal, and I would like to create some short signal. Yes, it's very interesting information at night, because at night in Asian session we have different behavior, and we could use information. Okay, let's test this time what happens if we do combination. We do we open long position, and we are going to open short position. Okay, and we could do some combination of the sequences to find different parameters. Let's see another like this. Let's test. This is the same. You could use web interface or Python to find some relationship. Okay, let's for example test this time and this time. What happens? This time I should short position, this time I should open long position. Okay, means yeah. Let's test again. What happens if you do combination? Okay, we have a good combination, and for example I would like to test using web interface. I would like to short position at night. Okay, open short position. Let's back test. Those it means we use low coding approach, and you see we have a big total return and we have some positive results. So I'm going to improve this web interface for you to increase some new ideas for trading. So let's do it, and please subscribe on my YouTube channel, and see you next time.